Strengthening the community by strengthening lives. It's what the YMCA of Greater Cincinnati Black and Latino Achievers program is all about. Hello, I'm Kathy Lair, and on this edition of Focus, we'll take a look at the amazing success rate of the local program in nurturing teens to be all they can be. Over the past 3 years, 100% of high school seniors in this free program have graduated from high school and been accepted into an institution of higher learning. How does the program work? Well, our guest today to explore the WISE Black and Latino Achievers Program, Sandy Walker, President and Chief Executive Officer with the YMCA of Greater Cincinnati. Mario Rodriguez, Program Evaluation Director with the Achievers Program. And Omari Aarons, volunteer with the Achievers Program from the Macy's Company. Thank you all for being with us today.
Kathy, it's great to be here.
Sandy, tell us a little bit about how the Achievers Program evolved in Cincinnati.
Sure, I'd be glad to. The YMCA, throughout its entire history, over 160 years here in Cincinnati, has been focused on youth development. And across the country, the YMCA was really committed to access for all. In the civil rights era, our founder of the YMCA Black Achievers Program was Quentin Meese, and Quentin was a leader in the YMCA in Houston. And he knew that young people of color needed opportunities and to see a positive future. And so the program began there and grew quickly to Cincinnati. The Cincinnati Y began the program in 1979. And so we've been operating for over 35 years, providing opportunities for high school students, especially kids of color, to have a chance to meet with professionals in the area and see that college is really possible and get the support and guidance and really build their confidence to know that college and a career is possible for them, and we want to have them be their very best.
Now, it originated as the Black Achievers, but then it became the Black and Latino Achievers. Tell me a little bit about that evolution, Mario.
Sure. The YMCA realized that the Hispanic population is coming here. By 2020, we're going to be the second, we're already the second biggest minority group. And I think at some point that's going to change. We're going to take over. So the YMCA realizes that we have the same needs or similar needs with the same with the Black population. I'm going to give you a few numbers. 6 out of 10 students, Black students, graduate from high school. That's very similar with the Hispanics. The Hispanics is a little bit lower. It's 5. Only 5 out of 10 kids, Black kids, go to college. The Hispanics is even lower. It's 3 out of 10 go to college. So the YMCA realized that, and they get together and said, like, we need to do something about it. And in a very smart way, they start contacting leaders of the Hispanic community, and then it becomes the Black and Latino Achievers to serve all the both populations.
Omari, how did you get involved with the program?
Well, actually, it's a funny story that you say that or ask that question. The program director, Ms. Darlene Murphy, and I go to church together. And shortly after I joined the church, we were just talking one Sunday, and she was asking some questions about my background and how I ended up here in Cincinnati, coming from Washington, D.C., and what I did for work and that sort of thing. And she said, you know, I have this program that I work with the Y, the Black and Latino Achievers Program, and I think that would be something that's right up your alley. And so she invited me to come out one Saturday and just see what was going on, and I've been hooked ever since. So I've been with the program now for going on about 3.5 years, and it's been a wonderful experience.
When you talk about coming out, this is a program, a group of young people that meets Saturdays throughout the school year. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So I'll start, but I know that Omari is a great volunteer, so he can speak to logistics, and Mario is one of our program directors. So, you know, we work with the young people throughout the school day and throughout the school year, but on Saturdays twice a month at Cincinnati State, we have a partnership there where young people can be on a college campus and are visiting with YMCA professionals and professionals from all different fields and careers throughout Greater Cincinnati, men and women who are accomplished as professionals themselves, who help the young people be exposed to career clusters and to really support them in their application and finding financial assistance and making a selection for college. And so it's on those Saturdays when we really take a deep dive on career exploration and college access. And Mario and Omari can tell you more specifics about what a Saturday looks like.
Yes, we'll be happy to. First out, we meet the first and third Saturday of every month. We begin on September and we finish on June. We go with the academic year. In the summer, we also take a break to prepare the curriculum and all the activities for next year. Sandy said, the program works a lot with volunteers. We only have 3 people on the staff, but we have an amazing pool of volunteers. Every year we have close to 30 volunteers from different corporations such as P&G, Toyota, Macy's, Humana, Johnson & Johnson, Luxottica, US Bank, and Fifth Third Bank. The program has 3 components, which are college readiness. We want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to go to college. Career exploration. When you are a teenager, you don't really know what's out there. You might have an idea. You might say, well, I want to be a nurse. I want to be an engineer. But you don't really know what that entails. So the volunteers like Omari, they talk to them. They tell them, what they do in their daily life, and the kids can learn about different careers and leadership development.
Volunteers are at the root of this, Sandy. I mean, there's probably no more important cog to plug in here than that.
I can tell you with absolute confidence, the YMCA is committed to youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. And we've already talked about the young people, but the social responsibility, having men and women like Omari who give back to their community and really help pave the path of the future for young people is critical to this program. This program is alive because of 2 things. Because of excellent volunteers that help guide the young people, give of their time and their guidance and wisdom, but also because of donations and resources that the community provides to the YMCA so that we can support hundreds of young people each year in Black and Latino achievers.
Omari, talk to us a little bit about why you stay involved with this program.
I think when I was growing up, I was fortunate. As the story that I always tell is that I was not a Y kid growing up in Washington, D.C., but I was fortunate to be able to participate in a number of leadership development type programs and character development type programs that really prepared me to step into college and then also into my career. And so this was, I think, has always been part of my makeup. It's always been something that I've wanted to do in terms of being able to give back. And on the volunteer piece, Cincinnati is really home to a number of corporations that really believe in being strong corporate citizens, not just working here, but we live here too. This is our community as well. And so the kids that are part of the program are our future staff. They're our future neighbors. They're our neighbors now. And so we want to do everything that we possibly can do to invest in the future. And that is, very fortunate that we have companies that really believe in that and put volunteers forward to help out.
One thing I've heard is from the volunteers is, yes, they put a lot into it, but they get a lot back out of it, don't they?
Oh, that's definitely interesting. We all have a story to tell, and I think that's one of the best things about the program. And so we're really there to share our story with the young people in the program and to inspire them to go to college and just see the possibilities for careers afterwards. But really them telling their stories of what they want to do in life keeps us young, keeps us dreaming, keeps us thinking about what's possible, thinking about really what we want to do when we all grow up as well, right?
There was an interesting statistic that we talked about right at the beginning of this program that over the past 3 years, 100% of the students that are in this program graduated from college and went on to an institution of higher learning. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a lot of hard work that we put on that, the volunteers and us. If you come to the program in your freshman, sophomore, junior year, by your senior year, we can, if you work with us and you come to the meetings, we can pretty much guarantee that we're gonna find a place for you out there in a college, in a community college, or somewhere in there. So that's why, obviously we need a lot of help from the volunteers. We do things, filling out an application, researching colleges, applying for scholarships, applying for the FAFSA, which is the federal aid from the government. All those things, that's the thing that we focus on Saturdays. So by the end, the last day of your senior year, you have something for sure. You know where you're going.
And Kathy, the impact is longitudinal. We calculated that over the years that the Black and Latino Achievers program has been sponsored by the YMCA here in Cincinnati, we've had over 4,500 volunteers from a variety of different companies and corporations working with young people here. And we've been able to award $200,000 of local book scholarships and get started money for kids to launch their college career. But we've helped them access over $4 million in financial assistance and scholarships from colleges and universities through all the years that the Y's been involved. So, you know, we really are committed to helping young people get the support they need and create opportunities from really cradle to career. And so we work with early childhood at the YMCA of Greater Cincinnati. We have rich after-school summer learning programs. And then we walk into this age group of high school. And it's really about leadership development, making really positive choices, and getting the support that young people need to launch their lives into adulthood. So we're very proud of this with the partnership of volunteers, staff, and donors. There's lots of possibilities for young people, and young people of color have a bit bigger mountain to climb, but we know we can reach the top together, helping them and watch them launch into a victorious adulthood.
Mario, you've got to have a lot of great stories of young people who have committed to the program and maybe were struggling a bit and have just taken off.
Yes, we do. Actually, last year I was very pleased. This will be my 4th year with the YMCA. So the first year that I came to board, I received, that was the first year that it was the Black and Latino achievers. So we started recruiting a lot from Latino students. And we had 3 amazing guys that came into the freshman year. 2 of them, they were from Colombia, Daniel Riveros and Yesenia Sanchez, and 1 from Peru, which is Maria Dongo. This guy took advantage of every single opportunity that we had. They were there every Saturday. They went to the Teen Summit in Kansas. That was the first time that I had to experience that opportunity. We went probably 2 or 3 times to the college tour, where we travel around the country during the spring break. We visit several universities, and I mean, they were there all the time. Their senior year came, and because of the partnership that we have with some universities, the 3 of them were able to find a full ride. Maria Dongo went to NKU for 4 years, full ride with room and board. Yesenia Sanchez went to Morehead State with full ride too. And Daniel Riveros is now he's doing at Cincinnati State, also with a full ride, and he is doing physical therapy. So their parents, their family were so grateful because we lead them. They come from a different country. It's just different in Latin America, how the college applications, how you pay for college. They don't know that. So they're always looking for help. And the YMCA was that help, that we lead them, and then we were able to, because of their effort, their grades, and their commitment to their studies, they were able to find a scholarship. So that's our biggest hit, at least in the last 4 years.
Now, this is a free program.
It's completely free.
So how do young people get involved?
Well, they just have to come. That's pretty much on Saturdays, first and third Saturdays. They just have to show up, and we will take them from there. That's the main.
Omari, talk to us a little bit about the responsibilities of volunteers with this program.
I think the volunteers really just, we really try to be very creative in our approach. So one of the things that we know about the millennial generation and younger is that technology is everywhere. They really enjoy very interactive sessions, and so we're constantly thinking through new ways to be able to present some of these same core concepts. So job interviewing skills, how you sit down, how you dress and present yourself when you're applying for a job or when you're going for college, and how you fill out a college application or putting together a resume, and even now how you put together your LinkedIn profile and what that says about you, your presence on social media. So we're exploring these topics that are really just topics that all of society is exploring, and we really do our best to have fun with it. So we like putting out challenge assignments for the students where we'll come up with different scenarios. We'll introduce a topic, we'll have a general discussion about why GPA is important, or what your social media profile says about you, what people can read from that. And then we provide some examples, and we really let the kids go from there. And they have great debates. They make wonderful points. This past Saturday, we actually just had a discussion on the importance of grade point average and what that really says about you. And we gave the students 3 profiles of students with different GPAs and different leadership abilities and community service. And we just sat back, and they really just took control. And watching them debate each other and make points and be respectful of each other, and make these very strong arguments. At the end of it, I think all of us wanted to hire all 3 of the people because they had done such a great job of presenting them.
What is the role of responsibility of the parent? in his program?
Well, the parent has to be involved. They have to, normally they bring their kids. They have to be in contact with the director because we always given the schedule of activities or the activities that we're gonna follow. So parents need to work close with us so the kids have to, they can be there, they can make the meetings. Sometimes we go to other places and they just have to be taking care of the kids and working with the Y. We also have parents that volunteer. They come on Saturdays and we have free lunch. So they're the ones who take care of serving the kids, cleaning the place, just very involved with us too.
How is the program paid for, Sandy? It's a free program. Teens can come. You've got a lot of volunteers. The Y sponsors it. But how do you to fund to get it to continue to grow?
Well, there's two main ways that we fund this program. One is through a very important special event, the Achievers Gala, that's coming up right here this coming Friday evening. We honor young men and women from companies because they're excellent professionals, and the companies sponsor them, and in turn for that recognition, they make a commitment to give back as volunteers. But the companies also underwrite their participation, so that's really important to the program. And secondly, we do an annual support campaign, and so we do get donations from a variety of community leaders and from foundations and corporations. Really important to support the college path because this is a year-long program. You know, we walk with young people on College Goal Sunday and know how to go events and really be a resource to kids. I think the other thing we haven't talked about yet is that some of the parents that we work with give back and are mentors to other parents along with being there for the kids. Some parents have been through a college experience, but many have not. So we're talking about first generation young people. And so I think this program exists for the good heart and smart minds of a lot of great volunteers and with the generous resources of some of the companies and corporations in Cincinnati and many community donors.
Barrio, what are you expecting when it comes to growth of the program?
I think we definitely have been growing. I think it has been pretty steady.
When you look at that success rate, 100% of kids getting into higher education, that is, that figure alone.
Yeah, we have today registered on paper, we have close to 81 students. Obviously our goal is to go for the big 100. Every meeting where we have an average of close to 75, between 68 and 75 kids who come every Saturday. So I think our goal, our short-term goal in the next couple of years is to make it 100 kids, serve 100 kids every Saturday. We have 25 to 30 volunteers. We would like to increase that probably 35 to 42. So we work in Cincinnati State and we have a big auditorium, so we still have a space for it. So.
Who makes a good volunteer?
You know, people that have a really good heart. And you know, what's interesting when you think about giving back and doing some mentoring, you think, well, you know, gosh, is my life really all that together? Is my career everything that I want it to be in order for me to go and really advise some people? But really some of the missteps that we've made along the way are some of those good experiences to talk about as well. Things that we didn't know going into college, things that we didn't know about going into the workforce that we had to kind of learn, trial and error. And those are the experiences that are good to come and share as well, the obstacles that you've come over. So people that are willing to be transparent and willing to be vulnerable and be able to really put themselves out there and really be able to share their story in a way that's going to inspire the young people in the program. And then also, you know, it becomes a community of transparency among the volunteers. We learn a lot about each other, and we're also able to leverage each other's experiences when we're doing the career exploration or when we're talking about applying to college or doing interview sessions. So we're able to leverage past experiences that we learn from all of us coming and really sharing who we are, what we've been through, where we're looking to go, and partner up volunteers with the young people in the program as well. So you don't have to be someone who has a perfect life or a perfect career path.
Yeah, definitely. Most of the volunteers, they come and they share their experience, you know, how they get there. And as Tomari said, sometimes it's like telling yourself, like, what, you know, how would you get there? Again, if you had the chance. I mean, you are pretty much speaking to a mirror because you are seeing yourself, you know, 10 years younger. So obviously, we want for them to be better than us. So you tell them the do's and the don'ts, and I think that's what's part of the magic of the program.
Do you often see young people who've gone through this program end up coming back to be volunteers and mentors to the younger people?
Yes, we do. Yes, it happens actually very, very often. Even sometimes students who go to different colleges outside of the state, whenever they have opportunity, they come and visit. So I think, yeah, they keep coming back.
Sandy, what do you see for the growth of this program?
Well, you know, I think that there is, if only all the kids had everything they needed to be strong and successful. So really, the growth is unlimited. Mm-hmm. It really is, you know, the YMCA is really committed to partnering with schools, and so I think there's opportunity to think more deeply about school partnerships, both within the Cincinnati system, but also in northern Kentucky and in other parts of greater Cincinnati. I think that there's a possibility of looking at satellite locations to make it more convenient for students. You know, these are the dreams that we have. We aspire to create as many opportunities as we can for young people and to support parents. Parents want the very best for their kids, and we want to be partners, volunteers, and staff helping kids find opportunities and really get ready for that next step into adulthood.
Omar, the importance of businesses getting involved in this type of a project.
Oh, absolutely. And when you talk about, you know, the potential for growth in this program, different ways that companies can come and be innovative and really be able to aid in the education process and really get involved and be able to showcase different careers. Toyota, through this program, has a wonderful mentoring program that they do on site with some of the students that are part of the Achievers program, where they actually bring them onto the Toyota campus and they assign them one-on-one mentors. And we would love to have more companies that would step up to the table and do those sort of things. So it's one thing, and it's definitely wonderful to give money and then also to give resources, but companies really have an ability to do so much more in terms of taking real life work experiences and give them to this group of young people that are the future consumers, that are your future core customer, and really be able to understand where their mindsets are going and where they think. So there's a win-win there of being able to advance the company forward and allow them to be forward thinking, as well as providing a young person with an experience that they'll never forget. And that potentially could be something that would set them on a career path that they may not have thought about before.
Mario, have you heard back from any of the recent achievers as to how they're doing with their new life in college?
Yes, we keep in touch with them in an informal way. So sometimes we call them on the phone, sometimes they send us email. And we just heard from, his name is Robert Cummins. Mm-hmm. He was one of our Black and Latino achievers last year. We travel a lot, as I told you, during the spring break. We visit close to 11 colleges. So 2 years ago, we went down south. We went to Atlanta, to Morehead State, and I remember that he was on the trip, and he just fell in love with Morehead State. That's what he said, like, this is where I'm going. It's going to be here.
Beautiful campus.
And he made it there. He's a freshman there. He sent us an email this week on Monday, and he said that he's doing great. He's a mechanical engineer. Well, he's a double major, and also doing some communications. He's very involved in the STEP team. He's also taking in the Spanish club, something like that. So he's very, and he has very good grades. That was the main reason, just to let us know that everything was fine. He has 2 A's and 1 B in the midterms. So that's amazing to hear about.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so it's very satisfactory to hear from these students. So
it's a free program. Sandy, talk to us about why a child out there, why a company out there, why a volunteer out there should get involved.
You know, a child should get involved because you just hear things in a different way. Your parents and your relatives can tell you one thing. The teachers in your school can tell you one thing. But I think when you sit with volunteers who are company leaders and professionals, you can ask them questions that you might not have a chance to ask. You can find out how they became designers of cars or excellent consumer product managers at a great company like Macy's, or, you know, find out what exactly it takes to get to different careers and what academic experience you need and what kind of things do you need to enjoy in order to be good at that. So that's a reason for young people to join. I guess that's the same reason for a company or corporation to be involved, to raise the next generation of excellent employees, to give your employees a chance to be involved in the community, because when it comes right down to it, that's what the Y is about, strengthening the foundations of community and adults finding a way to give back in meaningful ways, companies and corporations knowing they're making a difference not only through their profit adventures, but also through serving young people. So I think it's good for the entire community, Kathy.
Sandy, Barrio, and Omari, thank you so much for being with us today. Greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Kathy. Thanks, guys.
For more information about the Black and Latino Achievers Program at the YMCA of Greater Cincinnati, visit the website myy.org. You may also call them at 362-YMCA. To watch this and other Focus episodes again on demand, you can do so at our website, cetconnect.org/focus. Thank you for watching. I'm Kathy Lair, and we'll see you next time right here on Focus.
Tell us what you think about the programs we air, or let us know if you would like to see a particular topic on Focus. There are several ways you can contact us. You can send your comments by email to focus@cettconnect.org. You can call us at 513-345-6522. Or you can write to us at Focus, care of Andrew Dahman, 1223 Central Parkway, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45214. Any use or rebroadcast of this copyrighted program or portions thereof is prohibited without the expressed written approval of CET.